Hey, welcome to 5-Star Guns and Gear, and today we're going to do a little quick how-to. This is going to be for our Marlin XT17 HMR. We did a recent video where we added a little pick rail to an existing Marlin 60. You can go check out that video. We'll leave links to that. And it showed basically how to put on sling studs, that way you could mount a adapter to it and have a pick rail and a sling stud universal little adapter. So we have that in another video, but this one's just going to be, what if you already got your studs on here. Now this on here is molded into the synthetic stock, so we got the sling studs, and we really can't add a pick rail that attaches by that sling stud because this is recessed in and it just doesn't stick out far enough to get one of the adapters to go on. So we can still put a Picatinny rail on here, and we're going to do that today. I'm going to show you how we're going to do that and kind of discuss the pros and cons of how we're going to do this. And it's going to be pretty straightforward, pretty easy. So let's get started, right? So let's go ahead and take this action out of the stock. This is unloaded, by the way. Those of you that are going to be paranoid about that, we do not work on loaded guns in here in the shop. So we're going to take this out, this entire action out, that way we can work on it. So what we're going to do is put a pick rail right here. Go ahead and just set this to the side. That way we can work with it. Now this does have some thickness in here, so we do have a little bit of thickness, but it is hollow. It's not full thickness in this area. Does have a hollow area. So there's a couple ways we can tackle this. We're going to actually just screw into here and put the pick rail directly to this and just kind of self-thread it in. I'm not going to use the tap. Sometimes I use a tap, but on this we're just going to try to self-thread it in if we can. If I need to get a tap, we will. Don't think we're going to have to. Another way you can go about this, you can actually cut this out and this little section out, get you a Dremel or something like that, all the way flush to here, and you can actually, when we put our screws through, you can actually back that up and put a nut on this side. That way you know it's not going to come out. And we might do that. Let me go ahead and just kind of drill this out, see where we're at, see if I like what I'm seeing. If I don't like what I'm seeing, I will cut a little bit of this out. It's really not going to hurt the rigidity of the stock any doing that. It'll take a little bit more time to do, and I got some mill-in bits and stuff that we can put in our Fordham tool, and we can kind of cut that area out and do that. So we might do that. Let's just go ahead and just take a look at it. First thing I want to do is get my calipers and see what we're working with here. And we really don't need a centerline reference because the way this is molded, it's got a reference point all the way down, just perfect. You know, I didn't look at that prior, but we've got a perfect center line from the mold. So we will just go off that. That'll save us some time. What I was going to do, if you don't have that, let's say you're working with a wood stock or something, just go ahead and get the width of your stock, take half of that, find your center line, mark it. I recommend using a pencil, that way you can wipe it off. And if you're using wood, don't press too hard because you'll indent the wood. So just make real light marks, and this little graphite, you know, it'll wipe off. It's not that big a deal. You could do it with the Sharpie or something like that, but just think about it in the future. That Sharpie mark's going to be there unless you go ahead and clean it off right then. So I recommend using a pencil. So, all right, so we got that. We got just a old piece of Picatinny rail right here. Matter of fact, it's a little dirty. Just pulled this out of some of our scraps and stuff. and that's what we're going to use. This one's actually already drilled and recessed. If it wasn't, we'd go ahead and drill our holes and go ahead and put some recesses in. That way our bolts would go ahead and set in there. Went ahead and found some screws that we're going to use today, and we'll actually put these in here. But let's go ahead and just get our center point reference. I want to leave a little bit of area right here where we got plenty of area to get our swivel, our sling swivel on here on the stud. And all I'm going to do is line this up, and I'm going to mark it. I'm not going to mark it with a pencil. Well, I'm going to try, but I don't think it's going to. It may get down there. Let's see here. It did. Okay. I got a gray marker that works really good for this kind of stuff. And if you're going to drill it out, it really doesn't matter. Okay, so I see where we need to drill our holes. And what I'll do is I'll take our center punch and make our indentations. That way we can get our drill bit started and it doesn't want to, won't have a tendency to walk on us when we're drilling this out. And I got a couple different size drill bits that I'm going to use. Depending on what screws you use, I'm not going to tell you what drill bits to use, because if you have different screws, different size, it's going to require different size bits. So we're going to go a little undersize, and then we're going to step up to what we need. The thickness of this is 0.150. So we're going to go a little bit below that. That's what full threads. Let's say about 125, 130 is where we need to be. Got a 115, so we're going to start a little undersize. 122. Now that one's 137. So we're going to start off with our small one. Already went ahead and center punch that hole. Recommend, guys, do this on a drill press and use a vise. We're just going to tabletop it for you guys. Guys, you know I like to do that for you guys doing stuff in the home that doesn't have everything. So just to show you it can be done and you can do a quality job. Get that first hole punched, and we'll get the second one going. All right. Take a look inside. So See the holes? I know where I need to cut away if we're going to have to cut away. But all right, everyone. Had a little camera difficulty there. Had it die on me and didn't realize it. But go ahead and show you what I did. Went ahead and we drilled this out. Got the screws in there. And it was holding just fine. Problem is I didn't like how it fit. It fit pretty good. And everything's lined up. Everything's straight. Not a problem with that. Everything's straight. I just didn't like how the screws were in here. So I'll show you what I did. I took in this center support right here. I just notched these out. And I took and you can actually cut them out just with some nippers and probably some needle nose pliers. But I took a little end mill bit that I put in my little Fordham tool. You can put one in your Dremel. And I just kind of easily cut out that plastic right around that area. And I'll try to get a close-up where you can see what I did. I just cut these areas out here. What we'll do is put a washer on these, put some thread lock, and we're gonna put a nut on here. Another thing I didn't like, this is a little thinner than I thought it was right here. And even though we have good threads in there, and I don't think we'd probably ever have a problem with it, you know, it's just something I don't want to chance. So sometimes you just go the extra mile. You know, if you had a wood stock, probably wouldn't have this problem. But let's say you wanted to go ahead and put a washer and a nut on. All you have to do, countersink, because this is going to be solid right there, countersink it with the drill bit that's just a little bit bigger than your nut. And that way you can recess it down in there. That would be probably the easiest way to do that. Probably a really good idea to go ahead and just put a nut and a washer on there anyway. You can get away with just using the threaded part of the stock that you just threaded. It's threaded right now. I could leave it like that. It'd probably be fine. Probably wouldn't give me any issues. But it's just something I don't want to chance. It's something I wouldn't do for a customer. If I still have my gun shop, I would do it this way. And it doesn't take any more time. And all you're going to need is just throw your washer on there. And we'll throw a nut on there. We'll tighten it up. And that will be done. Make sure you cut out enough material for this washer to go on. I eyeballed it. I think it's going to go. Just don't have a whole lot of room to work in here. I'll grab some needle nose or something in a minute, or maybe a socket and a ratchet and hold on it. That's probably what I'll do. Pretty much everybody has those tools. I'm trying to think of what everybody would have that if you're just doing this project, what you could do to do this just on your tabletop. Okay, we got the washers on. I'll try to start these nuts by hand. It's gonna be hard. I'm not gonna be able to get it on camera, guys. It just not gonna happen with the way I've got these cameras set up. But I'll show you after we get these on the way it looks. Went ahead and put a little bit of blue thread lock on, and this will hold just fine. This is actually a better solution because you don't have to worry about it in the field about, you know, if it's going to pull loose on you or something like that. Let's say you snag your bipod on a branch or something like that. You know, this 17 HMR doesn't have enough recoil to rip it out of the threads. There was enough meat in the bottom there that it'd probably be okay. Just not worth it. Let me grab a socket real quick and we'll get this cinched up. show you where we're at right now. That's what we're looking like inside. Everything's lined up here. Let me find my Allen wrench on my workbench here. That's not the right one. That's what happens when you start moving stuff around sometimes. Here we go. To snug it up, that's all we're going to have to do. Before we get it tight, I'll make sure everything's lined up. And there's enough rigidity in the stock, you're not going to hurt the integrity of it or anything by doing this. This is just part of it. Just line everything up real quick before we snug everything down. And everything is just about lined up. Looks great. All right, let's just tighten her up and we'll throw the bipod on it, throw the action in it, and we're good. So this project didn't really take very long at all. Everything's lined up good. It's gonna be kind of hard for y'all to tell with that camera angle. But it looks great. Looks good, looks good. And the inside, that's what we're looking like inside. Looks clean in there. Looks good, looks good. Very, very happy with that. Put this high quality bipod on it. Now this is a very, very inexpensive bipod, guys. I think it's 25, 30 bucks. Cheap. Just a couple I had on hand. This is some extras I had from we had some stock left over from my gun shop when I had my gun shop in Texas, and they've just been sitting in there, and I thought, you know, that'd be pretty good to go on a 22 or 17 HMR. I don't like these for high caliber rifles. They're just, to me, they just don't have the rigidity that they need. To each his own. I know some people that's shot 223s and 308s with them just fine. I'm just not going to do it. I don't like the quality of this particular one. But it'll get the job done for what we want, for sure. So there we go. Everything mounted. One thing left to do. We got to put this sucker back together, right? And that's easy enough. We went ahead and did our trigger tune. So that is done. You can go check out the video at the end of this. We'll have it on the playlist, so check it out if you want to see how to tune your trigger for these. But this is applicable to any rifle stock you want to put a Picatinny rail on of this style rifle stock, okay? Really easy to do, simple modification. It doesn't matter if it's wood or synthetic. Just realize every stock's built a little different. Some synthetics are solid. There's some synthetics that are they're a hybrid. So what I mean by that, they may have a piece of metal running in it as well, so you may have to contend with that. Most of them don't. Most of them is just solid, or they'll have a hollow area. A lot of them will have hollow areas like this. You might have to do a little modification like we did on this one. You might not. Some of the considerations would be your thickness, how much meat you have. So we actually are threaded steel. We're a full thread, plus we put the washer and nuts on there with the Loctite on it. So we're good to go. This sucker is on there, I'm telling you. It is solid. So this is ready to go. But you can do this to any rifle that you want to do it to. It's applicable across the entire board. We just happened to go ahead and do this one because it needed it. And I wanted to kind of give you an idea how you could go about it. So there's different ways. There's more than one way to skin a cat, they say, right? No different in putting this Picatinny rail on. Now, my preference would be, anytime we're doing stock work, would be to go ahead and chuck it up in a vise on my drill press. That way it just is a little handier. And then when I'm working on it, I've got another vise right here I do a lot of work in. Put it in a vise with either some vise blocks in it, that way you don't damage your stock, or you can actually put some leather or something in it on the jaws, that way you don't mess up your stock. So here we go. That's how she looks. I think this is going to work perfect for this 17 HMR. Guys, if you're subscribed, thank you so much. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. Hit that bell notification, that way you know when we're putting out new content. We got content releasing all the time. Some of it's reviews of products. This is a how-to. We do some how-tos. We're going to do some reloading stuff. We're going to be having some range stuff. So go check out all of our previous videos and stay tuned for what we got in store for you guys. Guys, it doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. Please subscribe. Help build this channel up. It shows YouTube that you guys like this 2A stuff. So if you want us to keep on producing this content for you, please like, please subscribe. And as always, God bless, and y'all have a great day. And I'll catch y'all, as always, on the next episode.